Good afternoon, 2 minutes past 1. You're listening to Magic 102.9 FM on a beautiful Thursday afternoon. My name is Ben Watu, and I say welcome to this special conversation with Saint Moses Ogbonna, the only living saint. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, listeners.
Okay, let's get to the meat of the matter. Before now, you were one of the vocal voices screaming that the next governor of Abia State should come from the Ukwa La Ngwa axis. How far has that call gone? Are you impressed with the way things are turning out?
Yes, I am. A lot of people will come and tell you they are disappointed. I'm not disappointed. I like the way things are turning out. Because if it were not turning out the way it is turning out, we wouldn't know whom anybody is, whom to trust, whom not to trust, whom to rely upon, and whom not to rely upon. We wouldn't even know. There's one thing I always tell them, I disagree with the Bible, that out of the abundance of man's heart, the mouth speaketh.
You don't agree with that portion of the Bible?
No. I only believe that it is out of only action that speaks the abundance of man's heart. Except where somebody acts, you may be deceived by what comes from his mouth.
Okay.
So I am not disappointed.
All right.
It has encouraged us to know what people are, whom they are, whom you can believe and whom you cannot believe.
Okay, I want to believe you're making reference to the Ukwa La Ngwa Council of Elders, who the council before now, and you were one of those who do come around to champion the cause of that part of Abia State. Now, we all lived through what has been described as a split in that council. Can you tell us about the unity of Ukwa La Ngwa as it is right now? Because as an observer, it appears there is decimation amongst your rank and file. There are people who do not believe in the particular candidate you're championing. They have their own candidates. What's the unity like as far as Ukwa La Ngwa nation is concerned?
I believe in principle, purpose. When we formed the Okey Ahiwe Elders Council, we had agreed that the Abia Charter of Equity must be the fundamental principle for which every Abian believes in, for which every political position in Abia State will have to be the basis for sharing formula. When we formed the Okey Ahiwe Elders Council, we also believe that since power has rotated from the north to the central and to the south, without jumping, without flying, without limping, it has been trekking, that it has to trek back to Abia Central. And we also in the Elders Council believe that when it treks back to the central, it has to be Umunnato of the central, Umunnato Ngwa, meaning Okey La Ngwa North, Okey La Ngwa South, and those Isioma. We have still maintained it. At the time we were laying down these principles, all the leading politicians who are contestable politicians in Okey La Ngwa were in PDP. All of them. Those who were not in PDP were not forthcoming in the agreement. For instance, those who were in APC also agreed that APC should choose their governorship candidate from Umunnato. But they were not joining us in our meeting. At that time, it was I that formed that Okey La Ngwa. I conceived the idea. I sold it to Max Ndagibe. Dr. Max Ndagibe is my senior, a respected person, a man I cherish, even though sometimes he's very erratic. I brought him in and insisted that he becomes the leader and chairman of Okey Ahiwe Elders Council. At the time, we also agreed that party positions are not there. It is given. Party gubernatorial ticket is given. Does not matter how you contest. It is the party that chooses whom they want. And the PDP then agreed that it is Umunato, and it is whom the party chose. No matter how the primaries are done, it is the party's decision that is supreme. Whom they chose becomes the governorship candidate. It has been so. During the Okalo, it was so. Whatever the struggles we went into, in the end, the party said it is Okalo and gave it to him. During the time of T.A. Oji, even that is the one that is very worse. T.A. Oji was in prison. The party says it is T.A. Oji, and he took it. When Okey Ahiwe became the governor, the party says it is Okey Ahiwe. There were many other people who were even richer, more powerful than Okey Ahiwe, and the party says it is him, and they gave it to him. The criteria the party chose remains with the party. It's not on the individuals. Now, when it was trekking back to Abia Central, the party says it is Umunato, and they chose the erudite professor, Professor Uche Ikonne. Only God knows what happened. Uche Ikonne died. It was this Maxwell Ndagibe that received Uche Ikonne, congratulated him, and they brought him into his own compound. And all of us pledged our loyalty, our affirmation and agreement that he will be our gubernatorial candidate in this house. Thereafter, whatever happens, many people, when they want to see the governor and the governor did not see them, if there is one thing or the other you want from the governor and the governor did not give to you, you become angry. You want to vent your venom. You want to use your personal interest to override the interest of the totality of Okey Ahiwe people. That was what happened to Ndagibe. He opted out. And now began to say he is choosing Nwafor, who also is a member of the Umunato. The Nwafor factor is only that the party did not give him ticket. Not that many of them who are saying PDP is this, PDP is that. They all were part and parcel of PDP. Major power play of PDP. There were people who sat with Okey Ahiwe. Many of the projects that were done, the ones that were done well and the ones that wasn't done well, they were the people who handled it.
Okay, let's talk about some of the things you've raised, one of which is what was responsible for the split in Okey Ahiwe Council of Elders. You're saying initially there was an agreement amongst all members that the PDP Guba candidate would be your sole candidate.
Yes.
Okay, but to be fair to the other side of the council being led by Max Ndagibe, because I've also had opportunities to speak with him, he said there was a platform for all the gubernatorial candidates of Umunato origin to come present their ideas to the elders, that at the end of which they were impressed with the presentation of the YPP candidate, Nwafor. And they decided to pitch their tent with him. Are you saying nothing like that ever happened?
There was no time any Nwafo agreed to present himself before the Council of Elders. No time. Whether either in his house or in any of the town hall meetings, we invited all of them. They never came. It was Uchikone alone that presented himself. Fortunately, in Max Ndagibe's house, country home in the village, there and then, we adopted him. In fact, it was Max Ndagibe that used what we call Ikembe. We use it to, fortify a person. It was Max Ndagibe. It was Max Ndagibe who went on radio and congratulated him. Any Nwafo never came. Any Nwafo merely left and went to Abga. When Abga refused him, he went to YPP. And we say, what is your grievance? Your grievance is not that Okezie wasn't performing well. No. Because if you say that, you were part of Okezie not performing well. Because you were part and parcel of the government. You never at any time criticized Okezie. Even when some of us will go out of our way to say one or two things that we don't like, he was one of the persons that blocked us from seeing Okezie, that we are antagonizing them. Until Okezie pointed, the PDP pointed their torch, as they used to say, on Prophecy Kone. He left. So he cannot say that the administration of Okezie Ikpeazu is different from whatever administration he wants to run, because he was part and parcel of the administration.
Okay, let's look at the decimation of the Okwa La Ngwa political heavyweights. Before now, for instance, if you take a look at the 2015 power play, the Okwa La Ngwa bloc spoke in one voice, one accord. But in 2023, we're beginning to see a split in that bloc. We have an Einya Abaribe, the senator representing Abia South, is now with ABGA, canvassing for a gubernatorial candidate of Abia North origin. You have Ginger Osibe on one hand, and of course Darlington Wokocha. Do you think the split will affect the fortunes of the Okwa La Ngwa nation?
It will not, because Okwa La Ngwa people are very wise people. We are not people you begin to say, forget the past. You cannot forget the past. But you can easily forgive somebody. You see, let's take the case of Einya Abaribe. Einya Abaribe was the leader of Otuano. What I call Otuano was the highest point of Okwangwa struggle to have a shot at the governorship ticket. A lot of people died. Let me tell you, because of Einya Abaribe. Because when you come to Okwangwa political struggle, Isi Alangwa, where you have the toughest people, Etobingwa has more population than them. That was why when we were doing this struggle, Obingwa people, whenever they are chosen as deputy, the person who chose them as deputy will win. That was why when Ojozo Kalu came, we were in that struggle. This man in Abaribe chose to become deputy outside the struggle of Okwangwa. And of course, their people, because he was going to be the first in the modern democracy to become a deputy. His people joined him and he won. All the struggles, when they attempted to impeach him, it was the Isi Alangwa people. I was one of them. We were with him. Our people lost their positions. It was because of Einya Abaribe and his impeachment saga that CEO Nwemadu was impeached with the 8 members of the House of Assembly. against the 16. And they stood. It was because of Enyinna Ebaribe that Chinagoro Mwamba lost his second bid to become the chairman of Okey Ahiwe South local government, because he provided ANPP for Enyinna Ebaribe to become a governor, contest governorship ticket then. It was because of Enyinna Ebaribe that all of us left the PDP and joined the ANPP to make him governor. This is Enyinna Ebaribe. I will tell you, it is we that fortified him and made him to be the leader that he is. I am one of them. At the time he was in Otono, I was the only Okwangwa at the end of his 16th year at this 2023 election, when power is supposed to shift to Okey La Ngwa or Umunnato, that this same Enyinna Ebaribe went to his brother Okey Ahiwe and says after Okey Ahiwe he should allow him contest for governorship. The party says, how? We have believed in rotation. If you also believe in rotation, because the main cross of our agitation was power must rotate, shift from Old Bende to Kwangwa. Now Ojo Okalu says it must rotate according to the senatorial district. Abia North, Old Bende, Abia Central, Old Bende, Abia South, Okwangwa. It has to shift back to Abia Central, Okwangwa, for there to be equity, to balance. He says no, that it must be him, the same ward, the same local government. Okay, he says no, I won't support that because of all the struggles we are doing. Our Okey La Ngwa brothers and Umunnato brothers have been, at the forefront. That was where they differed. That was the problem between them. He now left PDP and joined APGA. If he had joined APGA to contest for governorship, we wouldn't quarrel. Now you joined APGA. You didn't go for governorship. You went for senatorial district, for senatorial position. That means you hate Umunnato people. You hate Okey La Ngwa people. All the things we lost, everything we put in to make you whom you are. This is our turn for you to appreciate it. You refused. You said because Okey Ahiwe did not allow you to contest with us, you will pull him down.
How does his contesting the Abia South senatorial seat alter the calculations of the Ukwa La Ngwa nation? Did it in any way alter the calculations?
You asked me a question of the unity. Voting and democracy lies on numbers. Why Okwangwa have been having it recent is because of the unity. Our votes are not split. When you split our vote, and you are not splitting it because you believe in what you are doing, or there is something Okwangwa people have done to you, is because that you do not want a section of your brothers to become governor. Then you deliberately went into APGA, mustered the people. Now you have won, and the Okwangwa people are begging you practically. The problem you have is with your brother. He did not give you a ticket. Now you have won. Allow the Okwangwa aspiration to continue, to make the 16 years the same way the Old Bende people have made their 16 years. You refused, and you say you will drag Okey Ahiwe down. How can you drag Okey Ahiwe down, who has finished his tenure? Are you talking to kids? That means you want to drag Umunnato people. You want to make sure the people who suffered for you, the people who lost their positions, the people whom their people died because of you.
Well, the senator isn't the only one that has actually left the ruling party, the PDP, and to an extent you would say no longer aligns with the dreams and visions of the Ukwa La Ngwa nation. I did mention Darlington Wonkocha, who is also a senator-elect as we speak. We also have Ginger Onsibe. But for a neutral observer, is this not all about politicking or politicking of different political parties? Is it all about the Ukwa La Ngwa nation? How do we differentiate the dreams, goals, and vision of Ukwa La Ngwa nations from the aspirations of individuals who have the right to pursue their goals and dreams in various platforms?
Before you arrive where you are, you were somewhere. Every journey has a beginning. Before these people became the mega head they are now, who were there? What made them to be where they are now? It's the same Okey Ahiwe struggle. The Darlington culture you are talking about is my brother. After my compound, it is his. He was sleeping in my house. It is I that introduced him into the party, PDP. We gave him every support using the Okey Ahiwe struggle. Because for every position that was given, these positions were considerations were made. These considerations were where people come from, not to whom you are, because we don't even know them. It is somebody that introduced them to the party, and that person that introduced them is introducing them or introduced them because of the office that was allocated to them. Every office in every party is allocated, is shared, is zoned. This zone give us so person for Senate, even in party offices. So it is out of the struggle that these people were recognized, because when the House of Assembly position was zoned to Okey La Ngwa, it is the people that were in the party then, the leaders that said, okay, come and go. Not because of his power. But when they went in, they started growing. Many of them grew because of their performances. Many of them grew because of the love of people on them. And when you grow because your people now loves you, I don't think you should use that love to arrogate for yourself anything that should be against the aspiration of the very people who made you. Now, Darlington culture was in PDP. What is his grounds? The same grounds of Abaribe, the same grounds of Ginger, that they were not allowed to recontest the positions they were having after you have made certain length of a period.
Okay, we'll be going on a break shortly, but let's go back in time and see how Ukwa La Ngwa Council of Elders, or nation as the case may be, and to an extent even the PDP leadership handled the sharing formula. Let me borrow your words, that certain political offices are given to certain areas. Some persons are of the opinion that if the party, and to an extent Ukwa La Ngwa nation, had handled the situation properly, by that I mean maybe call for a meeting and say, okay, these people, since you would no longer be occupying so seats, how about producing someone or nominating someone or even introducing someone to the Ukwa La Ngwa nation that would take over? But it appeared that wasn't the case. It appeared just maybe the governor and the party leadership
Ukwa La Ngwa
decided.
nation never dabbled into senatorial, House of Assembly, House of Representatives issue. We said that is for the areas or zones to determine who goes for them. Because if Ukwa La Ngwa leadership should descend into who will become House of Reps member in Ogbonna, or who will become a senatorial candidate in Abia South or Central, we would have split ourselves.
But
we concentrated at the issue of governorship.
Don't you think, having not done that, that is the reason why you're faced with these problems of your brothers and sisters going different directions?
No, I don't think so. Because if Darlington Wokocha, who wanted to be a senator, has become a senator, he won. Those who voted for him are the same Okwa La Ngwa people. Which Okwa La Ngwa people never said you won't be. It is only him and the governor and the party. It's not the Okwa La Ngwa people. No Okwa La Ngwa man says Darlington or leadership, you won't be there. Or Ginger, you won't be there. Or any Abaribe, you won't be there. No, that wasn't our problem. When he defeated Okezi, Abaribe defeated Okezi Ibasu, did we quarrel with him? That we said, okay, the elections are over. Governor, allow him to be. But our pursuit, our aspiration, our interest in becoming the next governor of Abia State to conclude our 16 years should not be scuttled.
Okay, and that's your grounds. You feel they are not doing enough to ensure that that dream becomes a reality.
Beautiful. And the one thing they lack is that there's something TB Joshua, my mentor, used to say. I refuse to believe he's dead. He says, next is more dangerous than now, than next year, than 20 years coming. Next. That nobody can predict what will happen next. You can predict what will happen tomorrow. You can predict what will happen in the next 1 hour. You say, yes, this program will be over. But next, you won't predict that.
Okay, we'll be taking...
One thing they don't know is that when that next come, everybody will begin to remember the past.
All right. If you just joined us, we are having a conversation with Saint Moses Ogbonna, the only living saint. He's been talking about the Ukwa La Ngwa nation as far as the 2023 elections are concerned. The politicking, the power play, the intrigues, and everything affecting the Ukwa La Ngwa nation. Well, we'll take a look at the repercussions on the implications of certain decisions by certain individuals on the Ukwa La Ngwa nation after this timeout. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Okey Ahiwe dị anyị mma maka ndị ọrụ ubi niile ọ dị mmadụ n'oyibo nakwa ndị ntorobịa niile Okechukwu ga-achị anyị ayọma na-ere onwe ya Okechukwu nyere abịa bụ ayọma na-ere onwe ya anaghị ekwe ya ọnụ ya mere ndị abịa ndị ọma ka anyị niile pụta n'igwe tụnyere Chief Okechukwu Ahiwe votu ịbụ gọvanọ Abia steeti tụnyere PDP bịanye aka gị ebe sele mbalari ka abịa wee dị mma karịa PDP power to the people. All right, 25 minutes before the hour of 2, we have Saint Moses Ogbonna, the only living saint, right here with us. He's been talking about issues affecting the Ukwa La Ngwa nation. Now, before now, I did ask a question, and I'm yet to get the answer. With all these power play amongst the heavyweights in Ukwa La Ngwa nation, how does this affect your pursuit of producing the next governor of the state?
I don't think that's why I say next is very important.
So what do you think would happen next?
It will what will happen next is that the whole Okwa La Ngwa people have never lost their interest in becoming another governor of Abia State. When Abaribe was contesting, It is those who believe in him that voted for him. That necessarily does not mean that because they voted for him as a senator, those people will throw away the collective aspiration of Okwa La Ngwa people. You remember we were all obedient. I was obedient. I'm a PDP person. I am an Okwa La Ngwa person. I voted for P2B in Labour Party. If Oti will be so deceived that because I voted for Labour Party, for Obi, that I will now vote for Labour Party in governorship, he will be making a mistake. Our Kwangwa people will rally around their person. Because the Kwangwa man believes that no way no gathering ma this is a quest for the Kwangwa people. Something we have struggled for a very long time. Did a lot of things. Suffered a lot of humiliations. A lot of people lost their positions because of this Okwangwa struggle. We can't just be kids because somebody like Abaribe or Darlington Wokocha or Ginger Musibe says, no, okay, Zibazo did something wrong for us, against us. Therefore, let us throw away the whole of this aspiration, the future of our children, what makes us whom we are supposed to be in Abia State, and we throw it away and go ahead to worship another God.
Okay, let's look at those contesting the elections, at least from this part of the state. We have an Nyawafo. He's from Osisioma, which is part of Umunato. We have Sir Okey Ahiwe. He's from Okey La Ngwa North. I hope I'm correct. North
yes.
South. Okay, he's from Okey La Ngwa North. And we also
of
have
Umunato extraction.
Exactly, of Umunato extraction. And we also have an Alex Oti of Okey La Ngwa South, the same Umunato. So how does this play out? I remember I've posed these questions a couple of times to certain persons. The Council of Okwa La Ngwa Elders, didn't you deem it fit to talk to your sons to say, okay, for the sake of our goal, for the sake of our interest, these people should step down for this person, instead of splitting the votes to the detriment of the Okwa La Ngwa nation?
Yeah, what we have, the number of persons contesting amongst within Okwa La Ngwa are only two. The governorship ticket, that is Nyawafo from Osisioma and the Okey Ahiwe from Okey La Ngwa North.
And you're ruling out Alex
yes,
Oti?
Alex Oti is not an Ngwa man. He has not said in any fora that he is an Ngwa man. There is none of his documents that bears Ngwa man. He has no interest. He has never, how do I put it? There is nothing he can point out that he has done to show that he is from Ngwa. I'll tell you, the village he claims he comes from is very close to my village. His father was a pastor in my own church, district church, headquarters, Omongalago. I'm from Omongalago. His father retired from Omongalago, Seventh-day Adventist Church, Omongalago. You know, a lot of people are migrants. His father told him or them that they should not go if he dies, that they should belong to Umuhim or Umuhuru. That place he built his house. At that time, Oti was wealthy. He had houses all over the place. Constructed houses in Lagos, I know some of them. As soon as the father died, he took the mother along and left Omoro. They had a very small house in Omoro. The Umuhim church where his father worshipped, that is the Omoro people worshipped, is as ramshackled as it is till today. He never rehabilitated anything or anybody from Omoro. He buried his father at Omoro. When his mother died, he buried his mother at Omoro. He left and went back to Ano and built very great mansion. The first road that he constructed it at Ano, not in Omoro. But he was very close to His Excellency T.Orji, very, very close. He was helping a lot of governors, and we know how. So he believed that T.Orji would have given him, handed over to him. Until when the period of T.Orji was expiring, T.Orji told him, I can't hand over to you. This thing will cause problem. I want to complete equity. I will give it to Okwa La Ngwa people. Say, hey, I have affinity with Okwa La Ngwa people. Say, what are you waiting for? Go there now. He rushed back home to Omoro. And they gathered some Ezees and gave them money. They gave him chieftaincy title. He came back to Omoro, removed all the people around that village, relocated them, and built a mansion within 6.
When you say removed, it appeared like he forced them out. Wasn't that done voluntarily? Probably there was a transaction.
You know what hunger can do? A hungry man that you give 1 million now will be able to. Where is the guy who sold his birthright because of hunger?
In the Bible.
In the Bible. Did God bless him? Because those people were paupers. They were pauperized. They had no money. He was able to settle them with a very big chunk of money, and they relocated, and they built a mansion that if you go there, you will think you are in America. Within 6 months. That was the period I was building my own house in the village. If I am able to get a job man and offer him 500 naira, Oti will offer 3,000. And all of them went to him and concluded the house. And he came back and began to contest the Okwa La Ngwa ticket. We say, no, you cannot. That place you have run back. That place you claim is your place. That place you have acknowledged to be your home will permanently be your home. You cannot rush back because there is something that you see that is coming to us. These same people who are claiming OT is Omoroma. We turn around to say, hey, look at you, Ngwa man, the time they gave you governor, you sold it to our brother. They will even touch your dress if you have a fine cloth on you. And, who knows whether it is the money you got from the booty that you used to buy your cloth. These same people will begin to taunt Okwa La Ngwa man for life. We said no. Okay, see, that's what became. We are still saying no. Now that it is the turn of Okwa La Ngwa person, we remind our people. If he wins, okay, he has not even won. I saw one publication the other day that is going to ban Keke.
Well, they've since debunked all that. That they attributed it to opposition political parties, that it never emanated from them. But let's take a look at the other two candidates from the Umunato axis, talking about Sir Okey Ahiwe and Nyamwafo. As far as the Ukwa La Ngwa nation is concerned, who are you supporting?
The Ukwa La Ngwa people initially supported Professor Ikone, who died mysteriously. We do not know why. And the Okwa La Ngwa people says, now that we have an option to bring up somebody, it will be very bad for us to move outside Professor's place to begin to support another person. My brother, there's one song, I don't know if it is Okwe He say, tụlee ma ọ ga-adị gị mma, leenụ ma ọ ga-amasị gị, ihe ahụ mere onye ọzọ emeghị ya, ọ ga-adị gị mma. If you say let's move away from Professor Zone to what's his name? Any Nawafo zone and pick any Nawafo. Any Nawafo has not done anything wrong to us. But he was part of the agreement that whosoever the party chose, all of them will abide by it. He was part and parcel of the agreement. In fact, I took him to Abga. When Greg and everybody was in PDP, I took him to Abga. Abga gave him ticket. We took him to Abuja. Abuja gave him ticket. Come back and declare in your word. He refused. Because of that agreement, he says, okay, because of his relationship with Okey Ahiwe, that there is no way he cannot give it to him. Because he agreed in that agreement. When it was not given to him, the touch did not point to him. By then, Greg has run out of PDP and occupied Abga. That's why he went to YPP and hurriedly began to assemble support for himself. My brother, this thing is not unnamed. By the time tomorrow, maybe Friday, tomorrow is Friday, isn't it? Saturday, you will have the vote. The people will begin to express whom you are on the ballot paper, not whom you are in yourself. We have major political parties that are known, that many people know. There are parties that are more popular than their candidates. There are people who will win because of the popularity in their party, not because of the popularity of their candidate. There are people who are more popular than their candidate. But if your logo is such that it cannot be identifiable within the time the literate voters will begin to exercise there, that is where you will have problem. I have no problem with Nana Nwafo. It's my friend. I was his father's boy, one of the father's boys. So I have nothing against him. But I am saying, if what happened to Prof and their people should happen to Sisioma people, would they have behaved differently from what the Kwangwa people did?
Let's put it this way. Before the demise of Professor Uche Konde, Nana was actually in the race. So
Yes.
he did not jump on the race after the death or demise of Professor Ikonde. I think we should set the record straight.
Yes, at the time he was in the race, the Ukwa La Ngwa people says we were supporting Professor Uche Konde.
And what were you expecting him to do? Step down? And
Do you know there can be alliance? What everybody is looking for, if you are not selfish and you are looking for the interest of your people, and your people say don't go, the next question a reasonable person should ask, what of me and my supporters? You sit down. I want to tell you, all these people are PDP people. All of them, both those contesting AMPP, APC, PDP, ABGA, and the YPP. They are all PDP people. They are the people who hate PDP. We who are the strugglers are the people they neglected. They stopped from, they blocked us. But because of our interest that our children ought not to suffer what we have gone through. My brother Kwangwa people have suffered in the hands of our neighbors. That if it were possible, they will come and take over Aba. You will say somebody, a stranger element in Aba, is telling you that I will deal with you.
but isn't that the kind of politics we have been kicking against. For instance, you said you're a member of the PDP and you voted Obi in the 2023 elections. You go to a place like Lagos, the Igbo race is practically endangered because of the kind of politics. It appears why you condemn this in other climb, you are propagating it in your own climb. Does that not amount to double standard?
No. The case of Obi is very different. If you don't distinguish it very well, you think they are the same.
Well,
I didn't support Obi because
these are these Igbo. The Igbo question.
No, not Igbo. I did not support Obi because he's an Igbo man. Is he the only Igbo man in the race? I'm supporting Obi because I have seen the future of Nigeria. I've seen the other persons that are contesting and see that we are slipping into doom if we allow Tinubu or Atiku to govern us. We can't have a change because they are the people who have perpetrated evil in Nigeria, not on Igbos alone. In Nigeria, okay, how many IDP camps do we have here? How many of them have asked their people who are in power, why do we have IDP camps? Why should our people be refugees in our homes? After all, we are better than them. But in the case of Abia, if you put the governor, the achievements of T.Oj and that of Ojo Zokalo, that of Okezibazo is better. Okezibazo achieved better than Ojo Zokalo and the T.Oj put together. That's not what we are saying.
Okay, so for you, it's all about competence.
We are saying, since Nigeria started, Okwa La Ngwa man has never been anything in this state. From Imo, from Eastern Nigeria, it has been them. This is the first opportunity we have had at being a governor. The first opportunity, and for us to have second one. Somebody poured the libation the other day. No Ngwa man can become governor. When you are saying no Ngwa man, you are not talking about Ibazo. If he had said Ibazo cannot be governor again or cannot be any other thing in Nigeria because of what he did to you, that's different. But when you say no Ngwa man, that means you are hating Ngwa man. And any Ngwa man who wants that to be actualized, we put him in the same position we have put to the man who openly poured libation against a nation. A nation without saying what that nation has done for him.
All right, for those who just joined us, we are speaking with St. Moses Ogbonna, the only living saint. Has been talking about the 2023 politics and the Ukwa La Ngwa nation. We'll quickly take a message. When we're done with that, you get to tell us who your candidate is as far as the 2023 governorship election is concerned in Abia State. We'll be right back.
ụmụnne m na ụmụnna m ndị Okwa Ngwa ọkụkọ egherela gedu n'olu ọfọ ndị otu eji eju ekete unu ekwe ndata iyi nri unu ọ na-abụ n'egbu m iwe elie m isi adịrịghị eji ọnụ ama eme odo onye ọbụla ọ dị nga ọ dị ya biko gbu n'ala ọkwa o ji abụ egbuo m iwe elie m isi onye adịchi akpa ya ọ bụdị ya lachiwao abụ osisi ndị gbajisi ụmụ enwe ada akụ aka ọ bụdị ụlọ ndawa onye nwunye nna ya ndị emugbu nwa ya na-arachi ọ bụdị ọnụ ama nna ya nchiwa onye ekwe ndata ọkụ agụnyere anyịnyụla ha anyị iwe nwanne arịkwana eru n'ọkpụkpụ gị na nwanne gị lụgide ọgụ nwụchịa onye ọbịa erie nkụta unu ọ ji abụ n'ozu nshinwe isi enyi ka nwanne erie mbọmbọ ọgụ arịkwana mma n'usekwu ma ite awaghị ọkụ ngada ịwa bikonu lekwadị na nwa anyị nwoke na nwanne anyị Okey Ahiwe ha aka mmadụ nka dị ire kwadoonu ya na Satọde bụ gọvanọ hapụ iro na iwe gbagburu manụ nọ n'ọhịa ozi a sitere n'aka otu Okwa Ngwa Obedience Forum.
All right, it's a special conversation with St. Moses Ogbonna, the only living saint. He's been talking about the 2023 elections and the Ukwa La Ngwa nation. Well, I've asked this question twice in the course of our conversation, and you've shied away from answering it. You've talked about the three, okay, should I say two candidates from the Umunato axis, and we're left with just one, who is the PDP governorship candidate, Sir Okey Ahiwe. Have you, as a nation, adopted him as your sole candidate as far as the 2023 governorship election is concerned?
Yes, when the Dr. Max Ndagibe dipped his hands, that we became very uncomfortable the way he was going, moving away from what all of us had agreed, adopting Professor Ikone, late Professor Ikone. There was a kind of splinter. He went away to form his own. We regrouped and met at Okey La Ngwa Cultural and adopted and asked the same party to give us a candidate from the same place Professor Ikone came from, so that at least it will not appear as if we are now jubilating his death. Let us at least compensate their people. The party came up with a very vibrant, fine, young gentleman. Many of them were saying that Professor Ikone is an old man. The same people who poured libation saying he's an old man were campaign directors of Atiku, 80-something years. That shows hatred. So the Okwa La Ngwa people and the PDP as a whole have elected and adopted Sir Okey Ahiwe as our candidate, and he will become governor-elect of PDP on Saturday.
Okay, quickly, we're practically out of time. For someone listening, apart from the fact that he's from Okey La Ngwa South and from Okwa La Ngwa, is that the only thing that informed your decision to adopt him?
Okey Ahiwe is a public person. He's not just somebody we imported from overseas. He has served severally in different capacities. I might not be able to, I don't have the facts here, but it is in the public domain. Okey Ahiwe has been tested and proved. Even when he became the chief of staff, many people adjudged him to be the best administrator, the best chief of staff that has been in government house Abia State. Okey Ahiwe is somebody we have related to that has listening ears. It's not snobbish as some of the candidates who cannot even allow you to say anything. They will conclude. Nana Nwafo is our brother, but we did not choose him. Not because he is not an Okwa La Ngwa man, but because we want him to wait.
All right. So the final words this afternoon before you go, what would you say to the electorate ahead of the election?
Vote from Balari on Saturday. Many people of Okwa La Ngwa extraction should look at the achievements of Okey Ahiwe. Okey Ahiwe, since the world began, made it possible for an Okwa La Ngwa man, the first Okwa La Ngwa man, to be a VC in Abia State. The first. Okey Ahiwe was the first governor to make an Okwa La Ngwa man head of service. You think these positions are very little? That goes to tell you the extent the Okwa La Ngwa man is hated in Abia State. I'm talking about from East Central State till today. We are still talking about first VC, first head of service, first flyover in Aba.
Well, we're practically out of time, St. Moses. I just...
Okey Ahiwe will also perform.
All right. On that note, I want to say thank you for coming around. And of course, I wish you success in the elections.
Thank you very much.
All right. My name is Ben Watu. Also, let me say thank you to Barrister Emeka Nwogu. He's been around somewhere in the studio, but you didn't get to hear his voice. Okay, stay tuned. Keep it magical.
PDP.